Prince Harry had to ask if his mother Princess Diana had really passed away in the hours of her death, as the royal family tried to carry on as normal, a new documentary reveals. The heartbreaking revelation is made by the princess biographer Tina Brown in the documentary Diana, 7 Days That Shook the Windsors, which airs tonight. The program claims the royals tried to remain calm for the sake of William and Harry but left the young princes confused in the hours after the dreadful news broke. Tina Brown, the princess biographer, claimed, Prince Harry actually asked his father, "Is it true that Mummy is dead?" The children couldn't understand why everything was as normal, except a couple of hours earlier they'd been told their mother had died. The documentary explains that the royals' initial reaction to the devastating news of Diana's death was to do as they had always done. Her sons were allowed to sleep in rather than be woken and told, but such was the royal family concern for them that mentions of Diana were banned from the church service at Balmoral that day. The Queen ordered all TVs or radios in her residence in Balmoral to be moved or hidden for fears the princes might be traumatized by hearing details of their mother's death. And as it was a Sunday, that meant the whole family went to church in Balmoral where they were staying as normal. But as there was no mention of her during the service at Kirk Church, they were left concerned. But it was reportedly on the Queen's request that there was no mention of Diana at church, as she didn't want them to be upset. The first thing we saw of the boys was when they were going to church for Sunday service, royal biographer Ingrid Seward said. And people were saying, how could they? These boys have just lost their mother. Princes William and Harry only agreed to walk behind her coffin at the 11th hour after being persuaded by their father who wanted to walk. Prince Philip intervened in arrangements to make sure the two young princes were taken care of. And two of Diana's closest aides were forced to create a makeshift morgue as soaring August temperatures meant the room her body was being stored in became unbearably hot and exposed to photographers. As news of her shock death spread on the morning of August 31st, the national grid recorded a power surge as kettles and televisions were turned on at the same time. Church attendances soared as did calls to suicide lines. The Queen is said to have reacted when hearing the news from her private secretary that she thought someone must have greased the brakes on her car. Diana's butler Paul Burrell revealed he first realized something was wrong when Diana didn't answer her phone. He said, Diana always had a mobile phone in her handbag, so I rang her phone and it rang and rang and rang. And I thought it's very strange because she always answers her phone. He, along with Colin Tebbert, Diana's chauffeur and security consultant, traveled to Paris to make arrangements for her repatriation. Burrell described visiting Pitié-Salpêtrière Hospital where Diana died and seeing her body, adding, I honestly thought entering that room and looking at her she is not really dead, it's just a joke. A very silly joke and you can wake up. After the funeral, Diana's body was taken to the Spencer family home at Althorpe for a private burial, but what many people watching didn't realize was all the motorcycle outriders knew Diana personally, having met her during royal protection duties.